Morning, everybody. Welcome to the opening bell. This is Ashley Reeve here, guys. It's an absolute pleasure being with you here this morning. Before we get started, remember the information we discuss in the video is opinion and should not be construed as advice in any way. So let's get started with today's NFP session, guys. Knowing that we will be having a live stream later on this afternoon to look at the labor report that is coming out for the month of August. And obviously, we're checking that out in the beginning of September. And obviously, with that comes a lot of, factors. Firstly, let's maybe just start off with mentioning that there is a lot of pressure inside of the US. When we look at the dollar index, we can see that there is a very, very strong support level on the daily and the weekly time frame. However, it looks like the hour frame is pushing a little bit down. But remember, it's only 9 a.m. right now. And there are some higher lows there within that structure. And many are concluding that due to the ADP's, less or worse than expected results yesterday, the unemployment claims coming out worse than expected, many are considering that we might get a weaker labor report as well. And while that is very valid, while that is very true, it could happen, we should not omit the fact that there is a surprise that can be waiting for us later on as well. So with that being said, guys, we're focusing a lot on gold this morning. You can see that after the high that gold has made, and you can see it right there, that's around 3578. We're seeing a bit of a correction that has taken place, creating what one would call an inside bar. All right, an inside bar. And this has obviously given us quite a bit of momentum to the downside, giving us a very strong low. That's the hour frame. If you go to the shorter time frames, you're going to see there should be a candle that has dipped below this entire support structure over there. All right, Jules, I see you online there this morning. So these candles have closed right below the structure here, giving us a low. We have now gone up, created this entire momentum to the upside for a lower high. Now, this is where it gets tricky. This is where the guys are looking at right now. So do we continue with the upside later on, or do we push down? This is why it's very important. Now, according to price action, or at least the market structure and the action inside of that structure, we should be getting a lower low. All right, so we should be coming down. However, this is also seen as an ascending triangle for some traders. Now, the reason why I'm saying some traders, because other traders won't see this as that. They want to see a much greater resistance. So the resistance can either be formed by wicks, or the guys will use the closing of price with the line chart to determine that. Hence, I'm saying, guys, when it comes to technicals, there's so many interpretations of it. And so what you should then look for, which would be very beneficial, is market structure. Right now, market structure is showing us, listen, we could get a stronger dollar here later on. However, if there's a continuation, we would also be ready for a continuation in what? In the structure. And the structure then would look at a much higher time frame. We'll look at the 8-hour time frame if it is a continuation for further upside. But what it looks like right now, it looks like the dollar could stand some of a chance, or some form of a chance here today. The same with the Euro USD, guys. We're hitting a resistance on the hourly frame. Beautiful resistance. Currently in the buy zone. In this gray block, this is a buy zone. And I can tell you today, there are traders that have already bought into this, and they may even get out of this earlier on versus the more conservative traders that might wait for this resistance to be broken first. Because that's a resistance right there, and this is obviously much lower than that one. So many guys will not engage now. They're going to wait for later on and monitor. The same, guys, when it comes to GBP USD, the hour frame has also now gone down, created a low right there according to structure, lower high, and according to structure, dollar strength could be coming in here unless we go to a much higher time frame. Remember, this is intraday now. So if we go to a higher time frame, it looks more bullish. So it's either we're going to continue the bullish trend to the upside, or we're going to do an intraday push to the downside. And we're going to have to look at that when the data gets released. All right. We're going to have to look at that. So at this point, we're watching the gold price, we're watching the Euro USD, we're watching the GBP USD, and the guys can also get the Euro stocks in there if they'd like to, trade something that's necessarily not as driven by the NFP. It can be, I can't omit the fact that it can be, but the likelihood when you compare the US 30, the NAS 100, as well as the S&P 500 to the Euro stocks, you're going to find that the probability is higher that the US stock indexes will be affected far more aggressively than the Euro stock. So watch out for this one here, guys. Entry zone is above roughly 5379. Many of the guys would want to get in there after a candle has closed above this resistance over here. It's currently in the buy zone, but it's not gone and followed through yet. All right, so watch us at 2 o'clock this afternoon, guys. 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'll just repeat that again for you guys. We're watching the gold price possibly going down, Very important here. We need to break below the 3540. The Euro USD, there is a resistance on the 1 hour right now, and we will be checking that out. Very, very important. And then the GBP USD, exactly the same. There's a resistance that has now come to the forefront. It's printed. We're going to wait and see what happens down below over here. And then the guys can also check out the Euro stocks. That's going to be a critical one for you to watch as well. May not be affected as much as the US stock indexes as mentioned, but it's worth a try, worth a look-see. All right, see you guys at 2 o'clock, guys, this afternoon. And if you'd like to open up an account with us, please, if you'd like to, open up an account with us, please visit www.tdmarkets.com. You can also email us at care@tdmarkets.com. Additionally, TD Markets or tdacademy.com. If you'd like to register with our classes, they are open, or at least running, Mondays to Fridays. That's at 10 a.m. in the morning for 1 hour. And then we have the 3:30, the afternoon session at 3:30, and then the evening session at 6 o'clock. Those are the 3 sessions that's running, 3 times a day, and that is Mondays to Fridays. All right. See you guys at the NFP at 2 o'clock this afternoon. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.